Good morning. How is everybody today? My name is Teresa. I am the owner and artisan at NTS Design Co. I am a content creator for Dixie Belle Paint Company, and I get to go live with you guys every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. and do all of the fun things. Bear with me. I'm trying to get my camera angle where I need it to be so that I can show you guys exactly what we're doing today. So I have a fun-packed live, and hopefully I have a head. I sort of have a head. All right, let me move. I can never tell like where we need to be when I'm off camera. Only when I go live with you guys do I get to move my camera around and find if I have a head or not. I know how exciting that is. Anyway, so enough about that. So what we're going to be doing today, if you go back and you watch the live from last week, we primed this beautiful piece of furniture. Not really sure what to call her, if she is like a jewelry cabinet or like a lingerie cabinet. I don't know what she is. She's just a piece of furniture that has some drawers, some pretty feet, and a shelf. So we painted her last week in Fluff, which is this beautiful gray-white color that I absolutely love. It's delicious. And then this week, what we're going to be doing that I saved for you is I'm going to be touching up the areas that need to be touched up in the Fluff, and I'll be painting the inside, as you can see in here, that has not been finished because all it has is primer on it, finishing up under here. I like to lay my pieces of furniture flat when I decoupage because it makes it easier. Whenever you see us usually doing this live, we have the piece of furniture up and it's not practical. So today we're just gonna do it the way that I do it so that you can get this done at home. Good morning, how are you today? Thank you guys for popping on here. I appreciate you guys taking out some time to hang out with little old me. All right, so I'm going to be painting the shelves antebellum blue, which is this beautiful, beautiful color. And because of that, I am going to be using this gorgeous Tuscan olive decoupage paper. We're going to be playing it here and all the way down. So I'm hoping that I have enough. I have 2 sheets of it, so that should be enough, I would think. I feel like it is because if I lay them out and it's enough to like cover it, it should be enough when it's open, right? That's how I feel. All right, so in order to do that, what we're going to do is, and I may change my mind halfway through when I open it, I don't know yet. When we are doing decoupage, you need to have a medium to get your decoupage paper to stick. What I will be using is the satin clear coat. Actually, I might use a different paper. I'm so back and forth, you guys, sorry. So satin clear coat is what you use to get your paper down. Let me grab this other paper really quick because I really feel like I might want to use this one. I second guess myself all of the time. Last week I had this paper out and I really wanted to use it. And now I'm like, well, let's just see. Excuse me as I choke on air. That's what I like to do best. Where is this paper? And now I'm searching for this paper, so I might be stuck with the one that I'm using. Where is she? Oh, here she is. I already had her out. Okay, so this is what happened. I left her out so that I could change my mind, and then I can't find it. So I also have this paper. I have not used this paper yet, and I think this paper is really, really beautiful. Excuse me, let me grab a swallow of this water. This is Lovely Sonnet, and it's really pretty. And I probably will still use, I have 900 colors over here, so I can change my mind if I'm gonna do a different color. But I kind of really love this. I think this is pretty. If you guys are commenting, I can't see because it's so far away, because the only way that I could get this angle is to not have a head and for you guys to be really far away. So I apologize on that. But I wanted you guys to be able to see when I decoupage. I will bring you guys in closer and lower it. Maybe that will help. But this is the piece of furniture. I'm pretty sure this is the decoupage paper I'm going to use, honestly. I changed my mind, and I'd like to call that a plot twist. So we're going to just go ahead and do that, because I think it has like a whole bottom piece to a plant, and I just want it to be a repetitive pattern. So let's go ahead and drop you guys down. I have the Lovely Sonnet. I haven't used it yet either. Teresa, it's really pretty, isn't it? All right, so I'm going to drop you guys down like super, super low. And bring you guys in. Stephanie, hello from the hospital. Pacemaker battery changing out. Oh my goodness gracious, girlfriend. You're insane and you're watching me? Ha! Holy heavens. All right, again, I'm not gonna have a head, but I want you guys to see, let me bring you in a little closer, what we're doing. Let me see if I can bring you down just a little bit lower. These camera angles, like, I need a cameraman. I'm hiring. Does anybody have a cameraman that might be able to share with me? All right, there we go. All right, here we go. Can't decide what to use on it. Looks like fall colors. Yes, right? I feel like that too. So, which makes me want to use green in the inside, but I'll figure that out later. So we're just gonna decoupage for right now. So again, this is Lovely Sonnet. I have 3 of them. I will not be using all 3. I doubt that. But if I wanted to decoupage the top of the shelves, I could do that if I wanted to. So let's just start with 1. Again, this is Painted and Fluff. This is 2 full coats. Smashing my drawers in there so they're flat. I like to decoupage with my drawers flat, laying my furniture on its back. When I do it live, usually, it is standing up, and it is very hard to hold a piece of decoupage paper like this. I feel like if I move you, no, I'm not gonna move the camera again. We're just gonna leave it where it is. Oh, poor Stephanie, at least you'll be recharged. I mean, poor thing, Stephanie. Goodness gracious. We will all be thinking of you today. All right, so I need scissors because this has an edge I want to get off, and I ill-planned for this live. I thought I had everything I needed, and I don't. Let me grab scissors really quick, you guys. I'm so sorry. Hot Mess Express today, guys. All right, here we go. I have my scissors, and I'm just gonna be cutting off this edge of this paper. Let me pull this out. Again, this is Lovely Sonnet, the rice decoupage paper from Dixie Belle. And it's huge, right? I don't know, only need 1 piece. Look at that. Only need 1 piece. That's upside down. I may not even have to cut the edges because I'm going to use a razor on them. Nope, look at that. 1 piece, 1 and done. I love this size of decoupage paper. It makes my heart so happy. All right, so I will take them off of the razor, and I'm very carefully going to apply this. I'm gonna turn, that fan is gonna blow, isn't it? All right, it's not bad. Okay, so what I like to do when I'm decoupaging, I'm going to turn my piece of paper over. This A allows it, for me, to apply better. I will take water and just very lightly mist the back of my decoupage paper. I'm not saturating it, I'm just lightly misting it. Very lightly. For me, this helps apply my paper. Okay? So now that we have lightly misted, so it's just, see how it's a little more, it moves a little bit better, okay? I'm gonna lay that down. I have a scarlet brush that I like to decoupage with, and who makes the paper? Dixie Belle Paint Company. We're on the Dixie Belle Paint page, so everything you see here is going to be Dixie Belle, Miss Stephanie. So this is a top coat brush only, and I write on it because this is my favorite to decoupage with. I love the scarlet brush, and it fits in my jar perfectly. And with that, we're going to be using, there we go, the Dixie Belle Satin Clear Coat. You can use whatever you want to use. You're gonna need some sort of a medium. I use this, okay? And so what I'm going to be doing is adding an ample amount. I'm not worried about it getting in the drawers or any of that because I'm going to fix that. But I want to be very mindful to only get it on the drawers because I can't necessarily get it off once it's on the other piece. Like, I don't want to get top coat on this on accident because the decoupage paper is bigger and it's going to stick to that. I painted this light because I wanted the colors to show up light behind my paper. If I wanted a darker background behind it, I would have used a darker color behind it as a base. All right. Make sure that you get your edges, and wherever you apply this clear coat is exactly where your decoupage paper is going to stick. So I like lean over it. Okay, so I'm just starting with the 2 top drawers. Okay, and since my paper is more pliable since I wet it or dampened it, it's gonna do what I want easier. And I kind of like my furniture being down so I can kind of like lean on it All right. Ugh. And this paper, you can lift up, you can rearrange it, you can do all of the things. I am gonna get in front of it though so I can make sure that I have it even. All right, my fan is blowing. That's going to drive me bananas. Make sure that we are up over the edge. I know you can't see through me, I'm sorry. Okay. We're up over the edge. Now I'm gonna pull it this way and then pull it this way because I want it to be even. I'm gonna turn this fan off, it's gonna drive me bananas. Also, when you're decoupaging, make sure you do not have a fan on because it will blow and not allow you to do the things. Okay, so now that I've moved this 9,000 times, I need more top coat on here. And you'll notice that, like, you can just pick it up and keep moving it. It's not gonna hurt anything. It's so quiet in here without that fan on now. So quiet. Okay. Now that I've added more, it's gonna stick where I want it to. And I'm just gonna lay my piece of paper in the middle, where I think is in the middle because I'm on an angle. And you can use a brayer, you can use any of the things. I'm gonna show you what I like to use. You're gonna pick this up and you're going to lay it down as evenly as you can. You're gonna use your hand. You're not gonna break your piece of furniture by standing on it. Okay, that's my top drawer. Now, Dixie Belle sells sanding sponges. I like to take the foam side, not the abrasive side, the foam side, and smooth out. Makes a wonderful noise, but I like to smooth out my paper. So that way I am not putting on too much pressure with my hands or my fingers. It will help allow it to lay flat without tension so that you can accidentally rip your paper. Which I do, and then I just paint over it. It's not that big of a deal. But as you're applying your paper, you can just kind of very lightly, and if there's creases, you can smooth them out. Sorry if that makes a terrible noise. All right. And that's your 2 drawers, right? And then there's some more creases that I'm just gonna smooth out. Again, foam side, not the sandy side. Abrasive side, whatever you wanna call it, okay? Now that I've got that down, I'm gonna pull this back up a little bit. And if it pulls up more, it is because there's not enough under there. If it lifts up a little higher, that's okay too. We just add more top coat when we lay it down, it'll stick right back down. So hopefully, I can't really see you guys, and hopefully you guys can see. I know this is like the worst angle for me to see y'all, but it's the best angle for you guys to see what I'm doing. Decoupaging these larger pieces can be a little tricky, but you just have to be careful. All right. And now we are going to reapply that down and that side. So that side looks like it's coming up a little bit. You're just gonna add a little bit of top coat to that, and that's gonna fix that. Okay. You add more top coat on top of this. I call it a top coat sandwich. That's how you decoupage. You need to have something underneath it and something above it to hold it down. Now you can, this is the wet method. You can use an iron if you would like. That is a whole nother method. AJ has some great video tips on how to do that if you want to look her up. And on the Dixie Belle page in decoupaging, she'll show you. This is how I do it. You can do it both ways, but There's just a couple crinkles in there. It's not a big deal. All right, there is a lip in my drawer. And I want to make sure that I allow room for that. So you're just going to take your finger and just kind of run your fingers across that. Okay, I'm going to take a razor to this once I have it all laid down. But for right now, we're just going drawer by drawer. All right. This is not a fast procedure by any means. It is not quick, but anything you want done right, you have to have patience for, right? Allowing some space there. Making sure I'm not missing you guys. And we're just going drawer by drawer to ensure that this guy, and once you have less of the paper to work with, it does become a little easier. If you're intimidated by a larger piece, just take your time. Go really slow. As long as you're very careful with this, you can lift this paper up quite a few times. That is the one thing I really love about the rice paper, is it's forgiving. And if you tear it, just paint over it. It's not a big deal. The Majestic Horse, when I applied that, I tore it like a good bit. And you can't tell because I just took paint and I painted right over it. And it's gonna be the same with this. This has got so much going on. If I did like a little micro tear, you would never know. Would never know. Okay. Again, I'm just using the sanding sponge on the non-abrasive side. I'm gonna pull this up just a little bit. Lay that down very easily. Again, running my fingers across that drawer. Lifting my paper. You can also use, you can do it more wet, like you can like apply it as you're doing it. I prefer not to do that because if I do lift this up, which I do like a million times, it's not gonna be as easy for me because once the paper becomes too saturated, it's a little harder to move. You risk tearing it, and I don't want to do that. And as you can see, I lift my paper up a lot. And usually I am in front of it and not at this angle, but since I'm going live with you guys, I'm sitting in a really wonky position. Usually I sit back here and I'm not live. Adding a live to it adds a lot of pressure. Don't mess it up. But if I do, then I can show you how to fix it. All right, this side is a little dry. It won't stick, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more top coat underneath and get that to stick. And you'll be able to tell, like it, like here, like that, there's no top coat here, so you can tell. Okay. We're gonna lift just a little. We'll fold our paper back. Adding some top coat to that edge where I've lifted it because I really want it to stick down flat. And once it dries and you cut it with a razor, or you can cut it wet, it's up to you, however you want to do it. You'll be able to tell if you need to apply more top coat, and you just relift it and then just apply it down and it'll be fine. There's no magic to that part. I'm gonna have to get behind it because it is really hard for me to see this angle. You can see all my crinkles. I'm going to get those out. Pulling ever so slightly. This does not have enough top coat there because it's not sticking. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit and making sure that it is not on my edge where I don't want it to stick. So then I'll have to sand it off, it'll be a whole thing, and that's not very fun. Making sure that it sticks over here. Smoothing out any of those crinkles. And once it dries, you can lightly sand it and they'll pop off. Okay, last drawer. Dun, 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 dun. All right, 22 minutes, it's not terrible. But do take your time. This is not something that you want to rush. It's not a race. If you want it done right, it's going to look really beautiful. Level up your project for sure. But you just want to take your time. Add a little bit of tension because it is curved. I feel like that part just doesn't want to stick. There we go. Making sure I'm not missing you guys. If I am, I'm sorry. I'm just adding a little tension at the bottom to help get those wrinkles out and to get it to lay nice and flat. There's a fine line between pulling it to where it tears and getting, see how this just does not want to stick for me. There we go. Just give it a little bit of extra love. All right, and then right here, just feel like, there we go. She is all laid out. Now, you can let this dry and add a top coat to it and then come back and cut your edges, or you can do it wet. You risk tearing it while it's wet. So you need to be very careful. Use a new blade and go very slow. You're gonna run your blade along the seam of your dresser. Again, very slowly. And you're gonna see where it's lifted some, and you can fix all that. It's not a big deal. If you run your fingernail against the edge of the drawer, you can kind of see where you need to cut. And your blade should fall if your drawers are loose in that spot. Again, be very careful. You can tear your paper, okay? Now, I've got that side. I'll come over here where you guys can see me. I'm left-handed, so this could be tricky. Okay. We're gonna start from the top. So I'm going to, and as you can see, it still needs to be stuck down. That's fine. I'm running my fingernail down the edge of the drawer. Going very slowly, because you can tear your paper. If you feel like you're going to tear your paper, you can wait until it dries. There's no reason why you can't wait until it dries. It's actually a lot easier when this is dry, but I'm live, so I don't have that advantage today. I can't show you all of the things if I don't take a little bit of risk. Now the rice paper has fibers in it, and so sometimes your blade gets caught in those fibers, which is why I said you need to be really careful if you're doing this while it's wet, because you can risk tearing it. Just be very patient and go very, very slow. Okay. Again, I'm gonna take this, find my edge, run my fingernail where it needs to go. And that helps me. Where the paper is wetter, it does make it more susceptible to tear. So just be careful. Okay. And again, you can wait for this to dry and your paper will not tear. But again, I'm live and I'm doing it with you guys. So there's that part. There's a fiber. You can see that, that's the little rice paper fibers. And now I'm just gonna run my fingernails across the bottom. Sometimes you hit that sweet spot and your blade will just run the bottom of the drawer. Other times it will not, and you just have to be careful. All right, there's that. And then you're gonna do the same thing for the center of your drawers. I like to pop my blade in the middle. You can see where the gap is. Makes it easier. When your drawers are tighter, it makes it a little harder. This drawer is a little saturated, so it is making it a little tricky to cut without running the risk to tear. Okay, let me turn around so I can see you guys. Ton of top coat on my knife. This is where my bag of rags comes in handy. I'm just gonna clean my blade really quick. And then we're gonna, like I said, I don't like to do an edge. I like to pop in the middle and cut away. All right, that part is too wet and I'm gonna run the risk of ripping it. So I'm just gonna leave that one be and I'll cut that one when it dries. You could slice your paper before you do this and measure it all out. I definitely don't do that. My drawers are very tight through here, so I think I'm gonna let this part dry. I'm gonna grab the top because I definitely didn't want to lay this paper out to have it be destroyed because I'm trying to rush things for you guys. So you get the gist. If you want to cut the bottom, you can. If not, you don't have to. I'm gonna just slice this top part off though. All right. I'm gonna put my knife away, and now, since most of it is cut, you're gonna take your top coat, and this is what I like to call your top coat sandwich. And this is where you're gonna see if all of your areas are laid down or not. I don't care. Now I don't care if I get it anywhere else because it doesn't matter. And we're just going to apply it. You can work out your wrinkles if you've missed any. Get your edges. This is where if your drawers are gappy, you can apply the top coat between them. Again, I am using satin clear coat and I'm applying it with the Scarlet brush. There's any areas that may have turned or lifted, torn or lifted, I can just cover that up with paint. If it's lifted, I can just lift it back up and apply it back down. Not a big deal. I like to, when it's vintage like this, I like to take my sanding sponge and kind of age it. So if I did have an oops or something messed up, it's not noticeable because I actually want it to look like that. And I like that look. People put a lot of pressure on decoupage paper. It's paper, it's gonna wrinkle, you're gonna have some oopses. It's a hard thing to do. All right, here we know that wasn't laying flat, so I'm just gonna apply more top coat. And we're just gonna lay that down. Just like that. I'm gonna make sure I get those edges though. Isn't that pretty? You could put 2 coats of this on if you wanted to. For those that wanna know, just for, you know, making sure that it's going to be protected. If you feel like something's lifted, you can just go back and fix it. It's not going to hurt it. You can apply as many coats of the top coat as you want to. Once this one coat is dry though, I will go back with my razor and get any of the edges and drawers that I did not slice apart. But I like to give you guys options and show you all of the ways to do the things. When your drawers are split like that, you can take your brush and lay your paper down. Laying up here. That corner is lifted. There we go. Laying it flat. One more. Nice even coat. Now that I got it all on there. And that's usually what I'll do. I'll put like one sporadic coat on just to make sure everything's laid down. And then I'll go back, make sure there's a nice even coat across the entire thing. Because when you're like mushing it down and stuff like that, you can miss a little bit here and there. This piece is going to be beautiful. And again, you're not gonna hurt anything if you top coat it because it's just top coat. It dries clear. All right, I may not decide to keep it fluff. I may decide to paint it a different color. That's the other fun thing. Once you change your mind, you can do whatever you want. Dry that off. Let me pull you guys around so you guys can see the entire piece. Again, this was the lovely Sonnet decoupage paper. Isn't that's what she looks like. Isn't that beautiful? What do you guys think? This will dry overnight. I won't mess with it again. And I'll just leave it be. Again, I'll take my razor and cut back any things. I'll stand it up, I'll open the drawers, I'll sand back what it needs. And honestly, I think I may just paint it a different color because I think that that's too much of a change. I might paint it like a really light green. Maybe the English ivy. I think that'd be a pretty color. Hey, Patty, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it is really pretty. And this is just one sheet of that paper. You can see how large it is, and I had extras. So you can definitely get like a whole nightstand, or if you had 2 of them, you can lay it across an entire dresser. It's definitely a lot of paper. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I know it was a short live, but it was like, to me, it felt like I was doing this for 2 hours. Decoupaging is nerve-wracking sometimes. So hopefully you guys learned how to decoupage and are not afraid to. Like I said, if you tore it, like I tore it right there, I'll just take paint and dab it in there. It's not a big deal. It happens. You just want to make sure all your little edges are smoothed down. But yeah, that's how I decoupage. I like to lay my pieces flat. I don't like to do it standing up. I feel like it is so chaotic, and I'm working with gravity, not against it. So that's how I do it. Now you guys can do all of the things that you want to. If you guys have any questions, message me. I'd be glad to answer anything that you may have about decoupaging or any of the things Dixie Belle. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you, Dixie Belle, for having me. I greatly appreciate it too. You can find this paper and all of the products that I used today on the Dixie Belle website. You can just type in up at the left-hand corner your zip code, and it will pull up your local retailer. So thank you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day and you enjoyed this tutorial today. Thank you.